Yo, the Big D is ready to recap the final regular season week of the 2023 season. Before I tell you everything, week 18, please subscribe, like, and share the Smoky Spectrum Sports YouTube page. Well, yeah, if you see the towel behind me, you know I'm a little bit frustrated with how yesterday ended, but we're here to get out a few frustration and positively put a dot our I's, cross our T's on a wild and crazy week 18. Check out the Spunky Spectrum Sports YouTube page, see the stream, and check out all the videos I post on the Big D podcast. Speaking of the Big D podcast, you can always check us out, Spotify and Apple. Have a lot more content this weekend with Wildcard Weekend. Might have some more videos either tonight or tomorrow. Well, I mean, it is Black Monday, so somebody could be fired between now and midnight. We've got 5 hours and 59 minutes left. Yesterday was an interesting, a wild, and a strange week 18. Yeah, there were a lot of important games. Obviously, the game in Miami, Green Bay, Nashville, New York, Washington. Well, Landover, excuse me. Indianapolis, but there was some odd score lines, some great individual performances, and some not so great individual performances. Obviously, the game everybody wanted to see was Buffalo and Miami, and boy, that was an odd game last night. I was thinking, it looked an awful lot like Buffalo and Miami Week 3 last year, where the Bills ran up and down the field against the Dolphins, but could only score, 19 points. And for a good chunk of that game last time, it looked like the Bills could do whatever they want. I mean, Josh Allen just, but yet the Bills having issues, fumbling, and Josh Allen fumbling and throwing a couple big red zone picks. But then the punt return from Deontay Hardy changed the game, and then Josh Allen decided, you're not stopping me. And I think Josh Allen showed what he's capable of doing. Because in a game, the Bills absolutely need, because Buffalo didn't want to come back didn't want to play in Miami next week. Bills are like, we want to have a minimum of 2 home playoff games and potentially make our road to Vegas easy. And that's one of those and despite the 3 turnovers, that's the reason why Josh Allen is capable of winning a Super Bowl. You see great individual performances time to time from great players. I mean, John Elway was famous for those kind of games where where he could not only throw for 350 but run for 100. Lamar's done that. Steve Young could do it in his prime with the San Francisco 49ers. Maybe a Randall Cunningham. Well, Josh Allen is one of those special players. I mean, he's 6'5", 240 plus pounds, runs a 4.5, 4.6, and could take on any linebacker. What he did last night was incredible. 30 of 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, and guess who was Buffalo's leading rusher? Oh, yeah, that'd be Josh Allen, carrying 15 times for 67 yards. And not just all touch push. It was in one scramble, he did whoop. I mean, Josh Allen's not going to win MVP, but he's got my vote. I mean, we know who's going to win. It's going to be Lamar. But Josh Allen has done more for this Bill team than anyone. I mean, in a must-win game, come up and show off against the division rival. And literally, I think even Vic Fangio said, we've got no chances. This guy's like John Elway, only on steroids. I mean, he was kidding, but Josh Allen's one of the most dynamic athletes we've ever seen. And you imagine what he'd do with Andy Reid or Sean McVay. But, The Bills are going into the playoffs with another Super Bowl chance because 17's under center. And to be honest with you, this feels like now or never for the Bills. Josh Allen calls it out. And, there are certain matches where it does matter who the head coaches, defensive coordinators, and players are. One team simply cannot stop a star quarterback. Lamar. No NFC teams figured out Lamar Jackson. I think the Ravens are like. I think Lamar's like almost perfect. I think the Ravens may have lost like one game against an NFC team, and it might have been that New York game last year. But literally no NFC team. Well, the Miami Dolphins cannot figure out Josh Allen. And week 4, I think Allen threw for 5 touchdowns. And last night, put up over 400 yards of total offense and a huge performance. And they were. That was maybe the most physical game of the year. There were injuries to both sides. Gabriel Davis, linebackers, DBs, and of course a couple more pass rushers going down from Miami. But the final score doesn't indicate, but Buffalo really controlled the game. Bills controlled the ball for what? Let me see. 38 minutes time possession. Red zone. Buffalo's only 2-5 in the red zone, and we know they were turnovers. But the Bills did enough despite the mistakes. If not for the turnovers, I think Buffalo probably wins that game by more than 7. So, total yards, Buffalo racked up 77 total plays and nearly 475 yards of total offense. Since Miami only total 48 plays and 275 yards of total offense. And yes, Miami rushed the ball pretty well at times, but a lot of those were early in the game. It seemed like Miami started off strong, but then faded toward the end of the game. Maybe the punt return had something to do. Maybe Miami losing Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb hurt the Dolphins. But the Bills came on strong, and you could see third, fourth quarter that Miami defense would just suck and win because guess what? Chasing Josh Allen all night is not a fun activity. I would much rather. But we saw the Josh Allen who can not only show off once, twice, 3 times a year, but could win a game against a big team. It's Khalil Shakir, 6 for 105, Steph Diggs, 7 for 87, Dalton Kincaid, 7 for 84. And who knows about Gabriel Davis? We'll see if he plays next week. But that was a total team effort from the Bills, and congratulations to Bills Mafia. It seemed more like a Bills home game than a Dolphin home game last night, but Bills win their 4th straight AFC East crown, number 2 seed, host Pittsburgh on Sunday. As for Miami, more injuries mounting. Andrew Van Ginkel probably gone for the rest of the year. Jerome Baker may be gone for the rest of the year. Now, I think Raheem Mostert and Jalen Water will both play on Saturday night. But one team's got a superstar MVP level quarterback, and then, yes, Tua has done wonders with. Mike McDaniel has done wonders with Tua, but realistically, Tua's not Josh Allen. Tua's barely 6 feet tall, can't run around, can't bowl for linebackers or defensive linemen. Tua needs a lot. And the last couple of weeks, we've seen more mistakes from Tua. a couple costly picks against the Ravens, a couple more costly picks last night. Now, yes, Tyreek Hill played. It seemed like I don't think Tyreek Hill's been himself the past couple weeks. I mean, Miami's running game was good early, and with Achane and Wilson both racking up yards, but Miami really missed Jalen Warren. It seemed like nobody else could make that play from a Dolphin passing standpoint. And then defensively, the Dolphins just fatigued. Being on the field. It's one thing if you're on the field the whole half. It's another thing if you're on the field chasing Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes. You're going to fatigue quicker. So if the Dolphin offense could have gotten some first downs, the defense isn't on the field most of the second half. So, it's a bummer. I know people saying, the Dolphins choked away the AFC East. I don't know if I say that. I say more the Bills won the AFC, especially with how Buffalo controlled Miami. I mean, is Tua a great December, January quarterback? Probably not. Could he win a cold weather game? We'll see. Because it's going to be cold at Arrowhead on Saturday night. Now, funny or not, I like the Dolphins more against Kansas City than against Buffalo because Kansas City's offense hasn't been the same. I mean, it's Rashee Rice and hope that a cheap receiver can catch the ball. And then defensively, Kansas City's great, but if Miami puts up 24 points, could the Chiefs put up 24 even against a banged-up Dolphin defense? We'll see. And I think for Buffalo, not only getting the 2 seed, but avoiding Kansas City, Miami, and then getting Pittsburgh. And, Steelers. Those overachieved just like they always do under Tomlin. I think Pittsburgh's got like a negative 5-point differential. I don't really see the Steelers no matter if it's Mason Rudolph or Kenny Pickett winning the playoffs. I know Tomlin's a great underdog coach. But you really think the Steelers, with or without TJ Watt, will go into Western New York and beat the Buffalo Bills? I don't think so. I think, in a way, not saying the Bills will win the Super Bowl, but I'm not betting against the Bills. Not against Pittsburgh, not against Kansas City, not even against Baltimore. Because Josh Allen right now might be the best quarterback in the NFL. And that's hard to say when Pat Mahomes has been to 3 of the last 4 Super Bowls. Lamar is probably going to win the MVP. Joe Burrow's been to a Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford's won a Super Bowl, but Josh Allen to me is the best quarterback in football right now. Head from the game in Miami to not only maybe an odd game, but an embarrassing game if you're an Eagle fan. The New York Football Giants whooping up the Eagles 27-10, but didn't even seem that close. But before I talk about the Eagles, how about the Giants? Everybody wants to poo on Brian Daboll. They're 1-5. Well, the mark of a good coach is how hard they play for him. I mean, you saw the Tennessee Titans play well against my Jags yesterday, making plays, try some trick plays. Mike Vrabel was a darn good coach. Same with Brian Daboll. It's just the New York Giants don't have any talent. Well, yesterday, I think you saw what a great coach could do against not only an underman, but a befuddling Philadelphia Eagle team. I mean, New York won the game 27-10. Tyrod Taylor threw for 297 yards. Saquon Barkley making plays as a running back, 2 touchdowns, receiver with 1 more. And then defensively, the Giants playing well, 5 sacks now. True, the Eagles were without a couple of key guys. DeAndre Swift didn't play. Devontae Smith didn't play. A.J. Brown was hurt very early in the game. We'll see whether he'll play in Tampa next Monday night. But the Giants end their season playing well. And going into an interesting offseason, Daniel Jones on a big deal, but I don't feel like Daniel Jones is the guy in the Eagles. In fact, I think Tyrod Taylor is the Eagles' best quarterback. But do the Giants get themselves in one of these college quarterbacks, a free agency quarterback, Keith Jones? I mean, could the Giants trade him and basically eat a whole bunch of dead cap? We'll see, because that is going to be a fascinating situation. And an even more fascinating situation is what happens if the Eagles lose on Monday night, because Philadelphia is one of the hardest, if not the hardest, sports markets. The Eagles on a team that will fire coaches left and right, like the Carolina Panthers. But the Eagles have fired big-name coaches. Andy Reid, who got Philly into 5 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl. Chip Kelly, he got the Eagles to a playoff game. And then Doug Peterson won Philly's only Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni led the Eagles to the Super Bowl. Is there a chance he's gone? Because Philadelphia was 10-1 and looking like it, the NFL's best team, beat the Bills, beat the Chiefs, and all of a sudden, the Eagles have not only limped to the playoffs, but just flat out tanked. I mean, losing 5 out of 6, and not just losing, but losing to the Arizona Cardinals and losing to the New York Football Giants. So the Eagles lost to their bitter arch rival last night. And yes, blowouts are going to happen. Excuse me. Teams are going to lose because one team's got more talent than the other, maybe. But the Eagles look like they just quit. Like Philly didn't want to be there. Maybe the injuries, maybe the fact that once the Cowboys got ahead, the Eagles we don't have a lot to play for. But it seemed like the Eagles quit. And in a way, I think that's a bigger concern, because this feels like the Eagles will and 49ers will most people's Super Bowl pick in the NFC. The 49ers go in the playoffs as the NFC's number 1 seed. The Eagles are the 5 seed, play Tampa in a tricky wildcard game. While the Eagles won week 3, I feel like the Eagles have gone back a little bit. Yeah, Tampa lost week 17 and didn't play well against Carolina. But could you argue Baker Mayfield won a playoff game a few years ago? There's more positive momentum in Tampa. Plus, the Bucks beat the Eagles 2 years ago. I feel like the Eagles have missed Shane Steichen and John Gannon this year. Because it's one thing if you're the head coach, but you've got great coordinators. Maybe that's why Bill Belichick and the Patriots flat out stunk this year. But in a way, I feel like the Eagles missed Shane Steichen because Jalen Hurts hasn't been the same quarterback. If the Eagles got a 7-point point lead last year, you knew the Eagles were going to run off 9-10 minutes and the game was over. Or defensively, the Eagle D-line was going to cause havoc and sack your quarterback. Well, this year, the Eagle offense hasn't been the same. A.J. Brown is frustrating because Jalen Hurts can't get him the ball. The Eagles' running game is non-existent, and in defensively, the Eagles' defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. The Eagles made Drew Lock and Tyrod Taylor into the second coming of Russell Wilson and Eli Manning. Not good. Now Philly's banged up, playing on a Monday night game. Yes, Jalen Hurts is better than Baker, but it's a tricky game on the road. Could be some weather in Tampa. And if the Eagles lose, Philly might be that one surprise. There's always one surprise every year. Could the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni if Tampa wins that game? Wouldn't shock me. I don't think it'd be crazy. Especially if you see the Eagles just have so many defensive lapses, maybe not a great offensive game plan. Because Nick Sirianni's been a little funky, a little different at the podium. And I mean, his first press was unique, and in many ways, this feels like a do or die game if you're the Eagles. You know, it's one thing you lose to the 49ers or Cowboys, even the Lions. Another thing you lose against Baker Mayfield and the Bucks on Monday night. I feel like it's a go either way game, but we'll see. And then the other game, Bears Packers. What a job by the Green Bay Packers. Trade Aaron Rodgers and make the playoffs. I mean, who had that? I think most of us picked Green Bay to finish, last or close to last in the NFC North this year. Instead, the Packers are going to the playoffs. Jordan Love's been phenomenal. Yesterday, 27-32 for 316, couple more scores. Jaden Reed looks like a steal. Tavian Wicks with 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones with 141 scrimmage yards. And this is without Christian Watson. And yeah, Watson dealt with a hamstring issue most of the year. We'll see if he plays against Dallas because I think getting him back changes that game. But realistically, I think Green Bay is going into the playoffs with absolutely zero pressure because nobody thought the Packers were going to be this good with one of the youngest teams in the league. I mean, Jordan Love's thrown. Let me see. For what? 34 times? Let me see. I think Jordan Love's thrown what? 30. I think Jordan Love's thrown 34 touchdowns this year. 5. Yeah, 32 touchdowns. And only 11 picks with a 96.1 passer rating. Right. I mean, for the Green Bay Packers with the youngest offense in football making the playoffs, it's probably a year ahead of schedule. It's a great job, Matt LaFleur. And Green Bay's winning the Aaron Rodgers trade right now because Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles and we'll be watching the playoffs next week while Green Bay is alive and well. I mean, could Green Bay go into Arlington and beat the Cowboys? We will see because that's a game the whole country will be watching this coming Sunday. And for the Bears, yeah, the $64,000 question for the Bears is what will Chicago do with Justin Fields? I personally think the Bears need to trade Justin Fields, get a first, second, whatever back because I don't think the Bears should pay Justin Fields $40 million a year. I think Chicago's better off getting Caleb Williams and get one of these top receivers at 9. So I think Chicago should trade Fields, get the best quarterback in the draft, and then take a wide receiver. Probably, I mean, Harrison, a Doomsday, maybe Malik Nate. Rose, the kid from LSU, could be there, but I think the Bears need to give him. And be honest, I know Matt Eberflus, defensive mind coach. I don't know what Chicago should do. I like offensive mind coaches. Coaches typically super winning head coaches are offensive minded, unless you're Bill Belichick with Tom Brady. But um, I, the Bears are in a tricky spot. I think they should now. Could Chicago keep the quarterback, get rid of the coach, or maybe keep the coach, get rid of the quarterback? We'll see. Because there's a chance Chicago keep the coach, quarterback, and then take like Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe trade back, and then get picks from like Washington, New England, these quarterback hungry teams, maybe Atlanta. But the Bears on the clock, and this is going to be a fascinating offseason because what will the Bears do? Well, we know this: the Bears aren't winning. We know this: Chicago's got the 1-on-1, so things could get frisky in the next 3+ months between now and the draft. So congrats to the Bills winning the AFC East, the Giants winning the year with a win over their bitter rival from just down the road, and the Packers for not only getting the NFC's final playoff spot, but beating their arch rival Chicago Bears. Yeah, mention one if you're the Packers head coach, beat the Bears, and vice versa if you're the Bears, beat the Packers. So thanks for tuning into this Week 18 review. Tonight, I will be back with a whole bunch more content this week before not wildcard weekend anymore, super wildcard weekend. So the big D is stay safe for everyone dealing with severe weather tonight, and I'll see you later.